Good evening, everyone, and welcome. So, Adams, I can see that you have started sharing your work. You see, the last time I did indicate that when I approve a topic, I don't expect you to add S or any auxiliary verb that is not in what I approved. This topic you have, I never approve a topic with effects. Please, this goes to all of you. Make sure the topic I approved is exactly what you have on your work. Otherwise, if this happens again, I will let you drop. So many of you indicated that I should be more patient, but you see, patience will come from you also adhering to what I have said. Okay, please roll up to first paragraph.
Well noted, sir.
I did indicate yesterday that all italics must be italicized. Please, you should all take note of these things that I say so that I don't have to be correcting the same things in people's work. I did say that all italics must be italicized. Please, italize all your works. Go to the second paragraph, please. But you cannot say that the government of Ghana has realized that a strong procurement management in the public sector is no. If you say it like that, then you are limiting your work to Ghana, and that this paragraph should come before your last paragraph that closes your work. If you want to make specific reference to Ghana, because normally in presenting background, you are expected to present the global picture before you narrow it to the specific context. So this reference to Ghana in this paragraph, the whole paragraph is in reference to Ghana. And therefore, what it means is that this paragraph should be towards the end. So roll up. Go to next paragraph. But if you look at this paragraph, notwithstanding the efforts taken and so on, it looks more like a problem statement than a background. If it is here, it's fine. Just that it means that what it means is that when you go to the problem statement, I don't know what you will see there. You see, because in the background is where you present the general perspective of the issue. This is a problem statement. It's fine. Let's go down and see what you have there. Okay, next paragraph. No, you see, once you cite somebody, you don't need to tell people that is from literature. Meanwhile, you are quoting all these people and you are saying they are cited by Adams et al. So it is either you are citing Adams et al. Or you go and cite these people. So take, no, that's not how you correct it. Cancel the from literature. Cancel the from literature and move the entire citation. Delete cited in Adam. Highlight it and cross it out. No. The cited in Adam. Just that one. Please, it's good you all look for a pen and book. When I'm making the corrections, you note them. That paragraph should begin with the reasons for unending procurement problem. You see that you are talking problems. I hope under problem statement you really talked about problems. So, because in your background you are talking problems. Move the citation to the end of that paragraph. I've had to mute all of you because I don't know. This is why Ghana is failing, because people cannot just follow simple rules. You see that? No, Adams, you see that sentence, you don't even know where it ends. Can you see? It means that you didn't have time to read what you have presented, because see, it continues and continues and continues and continues and appears as though it has no end. You have lumped like 5 sentences together.
I'll work on it, sir.
So highlight the whole thing there, because this citation should come at the end of the statement that is being referenced. Either you go and read your Adam et al. Yourself, or you go and read these people and cite them. You don't need all of them. It is needed because you are not making reference to differences in findings. You are just making a general statement about problems with procurement. Therefore, reference to one of them is enough, not all of them. So look for one of them, their paper, and read it yourself and cite it correctly and correct this sentence. Next paragraph. No, stop here. Stop. So before this statement, all the issues of Ghana should come, that paragraph should come before this. In fact, this should be part of that paragraph. So when you bring it here, then this sentence will continue. Because then when you talk, because you are talking about project success in Ghana, then when that paragraph comes here, it is in proper perspective. So this sentence should be part of that paragraph, and that paragraph should be here. So you see that if you look at this, your opening statement in problem statement, it is rather a background statement. You see, it's rather a background statement, and you have a paragraph on problem in background. It doesn't destroy your work. You can leave it. Just that it lets people see that you don't have a full grasp of the difference between a background and a problem statement. What corrects what you have done is this second paragraph that says, unfortunately in Ghana, very little research has been conducted. Why do you want research to be conducted in Ghana for it to be valid? Do you see? Why should the research be conducted in Ghana for it to be valid? If this was MPhil, that would be your challenge. MSc, we can let you get away with murder, because research must not necessarily be done in Ghana for it to be valid. If there is research on the relationship between procurement strategies and success or failure of project, then it is enough. it wouldn't matter whether it was done in Ghana or not in Ghana, except if you can explain why the Ghanaian perspective is necessary and everybody must know it. Go to the next paragraph. But there's no citation in this paragraph, and that is wrong. Everything you have said here, you have to provide the proof. So highlight it red. No, not the starting from unfortunate. Color it red. Use a red background, a red fill. Red. No. Okay, no, not like this. Undo. Undo. Undo is at the top. Undo is at the top. So highlight it and color the writing red. I use the A. The A. No, just good. So it means you must provide the citation. You are not an authority. I am not an authority. Nobody is. Whatever you say, you must provide citation. Keep going. You see, you are considering the fact that issues of procurement irregularities still bedevil the country, Ghana. That the grammar is wrong, because if you say still bedevil the country, Ghana, there should be a comma. As reported by the 2021 Auditor General's report, another comma. Then the end should go. The end shouldn't be there. That sound procurement practices. So I don't know why you even want to do it like this. Why don't you make the statement and reference 2021 Auditor General's report? It will have been a better way of presenting it. You just make the statement. You say that if you remove considering, and you say that it is a fact that procurement irregularities still bedevil the country, Ghana. Or you can say it is a fact that sound procurement strategies affect every. No, don't correct it now. Please highlight it. You have to take your time and correct it. If you want to be correcting it while it's better you write what I'm saying down. So you can say paragraph starting with considering. What is the issue? Rewrite to rather make the Auditor General's report the reference. Because all these things you have highlighted, providing reference for them is not going to be easy for you. But at least you have the Auditor General's report that can help you cite these bits. So highlight it and color it. Use a different color. No. If not, you'll be confusing yourself, so that you will write the meaning of the colors. So that, for example, those you have highlighted yellow is a paragraph you have to move. The one you have highlighted the writing red is something you have to rewrite. Color light green, this. You will introduce in your book the color meaning and because this one you are rewriting it to make the Auditor General's report the citation. Keep going. Oh, you know, look, despite the potential benefit of procurement and projects, many organizations in Ghana are struggling to effectively implement procurement strategies and so on and so on. First, there's no citation. Why do you have plenty work without citation? Yes, this is a background statement. It's not a problem statement. So move it and find space for it in the background. Let's go. Oh, what is happening to you? Next paragraph. So you see that the steady attempt to fill the gaps in existing literature. But you have talked about many things, but you never named any gap. When we were going through chapter 1, I told you about the gaps. In literature, largely, it is knowledge gap, empirical gap, theoretical gap, conceptual gap, or something. So when you are talking about these things, you need to be able to identify the gap. What you have talked about, is it the result of a knowledge gap? Is it the result of if you say there have not been research done specifically on the effect of procurement strategies on project success in Ghana, that is a lie. One of the students I supervised did that. Is still under review for, I think it's even been published in the Journal of Organizational, um, let me see, 1 minute. I want to check the paper. Okay, that is not the one that has been published, but fine. Um, I don't think you should see it like this, because then if this is found, if you go to the KNUST D space, if only graduate school has loaded it, you will find it. So you people should desist from saying that there has not been any research conducted on this. No, you can say procurement procurement research in Ghana is silent on the effect of procurement strategies on, because the fact that a particular relationship have not been tested doesn't make it compulsory to test it. It doesn't make it, but see, you already, you are closing the issue, because you say that the study attempts to fill a gap. Why are you still talking about a gap? Because if there are no studies on a particular phenomenon, that is an empirical gap. Meanwhile, you have already stated that the study attempts to fill the gaps in an existing literature. So sometimes I don't know whether you people have gone through ordering in presentation, because you have already closed the issue that the study attempts to. It means you have identified all the gaps. How can there be a gap again after you have said that your study is attempting to fill the gaps? Because what you are trying to state, if it is true, that to establish an empirical gap in the context of Ghana, where little or no research has been done on an issue, is an empirical gap. Maybe it is contextual. So you can have an empirical gap in the context of a developing country like Ghana, because it's not been done. But you are also saying the study attempts to fill the gaps. So please reorder your presentation in such a way that when you are now stating that your study is attempting to fill gaps, it means you cannot talk about any gap again, because it means now you have identified all gaps and you are now saying your study is attempting to fill the gaps. And it is not enough for you to just say that your study is attempting to fill gap. How is it filling the gap? What variable is your study introducing? So you are saying that there are still challenges with procurement strategies and project success. and studies have not been conducted. What should be known before we can say that now we know what the effect of procurement strategies is on project success? What should be known? Is it the different strategies in procurement, and or is it the boundary conditions? That is what will bring in the this thing, the moderators and mediators. Because when you say that a particular relationship has not been studied, perhaps or the relationship is not fully known, it's perhaps because there are certain conditions that have been ignored. And that is why you are introducing the moderators and mediators or mediators to make sure that you help to explain that relationship better. So you find that people say riches does not lead to happiness. I don't think it is the riches that does not lead to happiness. It is that the riches must establish something before happiness can follow. So if that something is missing, then happiness will not follow. For example, somebody may have struggled to become rich because he wants to be recognized in the community. So social prestige. It means that social prestige could be the moderating variable in the relationship between riches and happiness. So that people, no, mediating variable, sorry. So that some people who are rich want to be socially recognized before they can be happy. So that where they are not socially recognized, then they become sad or they feel that their riches are useless. So don't just say your study is attempting to fill a gap. How is your study filling the gap? This is the opportunity for you to talk about the moderating valve. In your case, you said firm type. Firm type. It means if you are looking at firm type, you could be talking about publicly owned firm or privately owned firm, or you could be talking about large scale firm, medium scale firm, or small scale firm. You want to argue that perhaps lumping them together is the reason why we are not able to fully understand the effect of procurement strategies on project success, because it is expected that large organizations that have capacity will be able to manage project strategies better than smaller ones. That's why you are introducing the firm type as a moderator. Okay, let's go to research questions. But you haven't stated the main objective. Wow. Make sure you state the main objective. Objective of the study must normally have, in fact, you know that graduate school even want it to be subsections. I just don't want it like that, because that is something you can choose. In the project, in the thesis format, there are those ones that graduate school allows you to choose. One of it is whether you want to have 1.3.1 general objective and 1.3.2 specific objectives. It means it's compulsory for you to have the two there. So you have to state your general objective. Okay. Go to significance. You see, I can't help but get angry. Yesterday we were here when we all voted and said that we should use significance of the study. Why do you have justification? Why? You see, it means that everything we did yesterday had no bearing on your work. How long am I going to be going over to be correcting the same things? I have been asked to be patient. I'll try to be, but I will not tolerate this from any person presenting their work again. If I see this, I'll just let you take your work down and I'll call the next person. Go to the next paragraph. This, you see, you have only one sentence there. Therefore, it doesn't qualify to be a paragraph. So either your work is too scanty, your significance of the study is too scanty. You cannot say it will provide insights to guide policy reforms. How will it do that? I did indicate to all of you that significance of a study must be a minimum 1 page. So please, it's too scanty, and you have 1 sentence paragraph. I did tell everybody, I don't want to see a 1 sentence, because a paragraph is a collection of sentences. So you should not have a 1 sentence paragraph. Let's go to this one. We changed it to summary of, I did tell you that graduate school says they want it to be summary of methodology. And the format I sent to you, it was summary of methodology. And the summary of methodology, you don't need any citation. It is in chapter 3 that you will need citation. So this citation about watching, positing, or saying anything is neither here nor there. Here, you are expected to talk freely. What design are you adopting? Why? What strategy are you adopting? Why? What approach are you adopting? Why? What is the population of the study? What is the research design? That is how I gave you a format for the presentation of the summary of methodology. Go up. You see, so you spent a lot of time talking about things that are not needed, and you forgot to even talk about what is needed. So you spent time talking about plenty, and then you started with, in this study, the quantitative approach using a design strategy. A design study design was adopted. How can approach come before design? Because it is design that gives birth to approach. That's why I ordered it for you. I said, talk of the design before you talk of the strategy, and talk about the approach. So when you present your work like this, everybody knows you don't understand research, because you are talking about, it's just like talking about the chronology of event, and you talk about a daughter before her mother, before her grandmother. Why? And it is incomplete. You talk plenty. Can you see anything on data analysis? There's nothing on data analysis. Highlight it and rewrite it, please. Present it in the order in which I asked you to present. I said, do design, strategy, approach, population, sampling technique and sample size, data collection method, data analysis. So it flows. Anybody reading it can see how one part leads to the other. No. The conceptual scope of your study cannot lie on the effects. I didn't approve any effect with an S. Cannot lie on the no. Conceptual scope of the study covers the 3 variables: procurement strategies. You see, now you have changed it to procurement functions. That is a direct crash. So if I am your internal examiner, I will just underline it. It won't fail your work, but it will make your marks very small. So you see 55. Anybody who sees 55, it means your work failed. But the internal examiner just decided to let you go, because your variable is procurement strategies, and suddenly it has become procurement functions. Why? I did say that it is under the scope of the study that the working definition of all the variables are presented. Where are the working definitions of your variables? Where are the working definitions? Now, the scope is also limited. That is limitations. A scope cannot be limited to managers. Can never be, because scope of the study is looking at the geography, the concept, the context, and the concepts. It has nothing to do with limitation. Doing this is very easy if you will agree to do it yourself. If of a scope of the study, research, summary of research, you shouldn't call any software to do it for you. Software should help you do background, and out of the background, you carve out your problem statement. That's all. At worst, you let the software do background and problem statement for, and you sit down and read it and put it in a form that makes meaning. I have told all of you, remember, now the 1018 has AI detector in it. Don't get to the end and run your plagiarism report and you have 30%. And at that time, you want me to wait for you to, because right now we have just like 5 days or 10 days left. We are still negotiating with graduate school to give us additional days. So, I don't know. Otherwise, today too, I taught till 4:30. But I thought we should still meet. Please highlight your scope and redo it. Order it in such a way that you talk about the geography, talk about the contexts, and then the concepts. If you want to start with the concepts, I am fine. Make sure you present the concepts and then the definition of the working definition of each of the concepts with citation. Because you are not an authority, I am not an authority. So you cannot say you are defining procurement strategies. What you will do if you want to provide your own definition is to first of all cite somebody who has defined it and then restate it. So you say that maybe Musa et al. Defined procurement strategy as, however, this study redefines procurement strategy as. So you have acknowledged that there's a definition in the literature. However, for you are also providing a definition of procurement or procurement strategy. Let's go to limitations. Convenient sampling technique can never be a limitation. I did indicate to all of you that limitations of a study is not geographical. For geography to be a limitation, then the other organizations in the other regions must have a significant impact on what the outcome could have been. And you have to explain it. If you say, for example, this study is limited to Ashanti region and Greater Accra, this is a limitation because there are maybe SMEs dotted all over the country, and each region has its own specific characteristics. And therefore, it is expected by this study that if data had been collected from all the regions, the findings may have just been a little different. That is how it becomes a limitation. So don't say that, oh, the study adopted convenient sampling as a limitation. Then don't adopt convenient sampling. Adopt what will not make it a limitation. Limited time and resources comes in when the data collection could have been larger, but it was smaller. So maybe you collected data from 150 people. You want to be able to say that this is about procurement strategy, but procurement strategy doesn't require a large sample size beyond 120 or 130 because it's strategy. Strategy is organizational level. It's organizational level. Therefore, it's not everybody in the organization that can answer the question. It's limited to managers and supervisors. And it is not because the others, that is not because that will make it a limitation. It's because the others don't have the capacity to answer strategy questions. They have capacity to answer practices, not strategy. So please highlight your limitation and deal with limitations. We are looking at challenges with data collection. Some of you will quickly say, oh, some respondents were not ready to respond. If that is true, you are right. If it is not true, you have lied. Why lie if that wasn't the situation? If it is the situation, you are free to state it, and then you indicate how you went around it. You see, I have been asked to be patient, but I will not tolerate this from anybody. This is organization of the thesis, not organization of the study. I'll say this one last time. If you, the rest of you who project, if you project your work and I see organization of the study, I'll ask you to take it down. And scroll it up, please. Okay. So that is fine. But I'm looking at chapter 1. If we have to look at your chapter 2, we will eat all the time and the others cannot present. Okay. So please work on this. When you get the recording, you can play it slowly and hear all the advice I gave. Please stop sharing. Who is next? Francis, go ahead. Gifty, it's not your turn. Gifty, take your work down. It's the turn of Francis. Whose work is on now?
Sir, please, it's mine. This is Francis.
Okay. I am coming. Okay. Keep going. Hold on. Hold it. Why do you have Ahmed a child with a full stop and a comma? And then Al-Katani without a comma. Why do you have a comma after Brindley?
Yeah, please. I don't know if I heard you, but the last time you mentioned that when using the etar, the comment should come only when the citation fall at the end of the sentence. I don't know if I got it right.
But this one, you have the entire citation in a bracket. Normally, with the one that the comma will come outside, the name is outside. But this one, you have put both in the bracket. Therefore, the comma has to come.
Oh, okay.
Then, why do you have the comma after the Brindley?
No, it's another thing.
No, even the comma after the that should not be there. It's a straightforward sentence. Brindley assessed that most often. And so where the comma now is where it should be. Okay, scroll up. Yeah. You see that you are not consistent in your paragraphing. Some of your paragraphs are very clear, others are not. Please work on it.
Okay, sir.
Go up, please. You see, like now, according to Ada and Boating, That paragraph is not fully a paragraph. So good. Okay, let's go. Stop small. No, no. Okay, good. Let's go. First paragraph of problem statement. But here you did it right. Why did you do the first one wrong? Second paragraph, please. If you say there's a lack of in-depth analysis of risk-related supplier qualifications and the rest, you must have a citation. But there's no citation, so please highlight it and yeah, good. So you need a citation because you are saying there's a lack of in-depth analysis. And normally that should not come from your head. That should be because somebody has studied the situation and has arrived at that conclusion. Okay. But you so you realize that you have come to the last paragraph to identify the knowledge and contextual gaps. You see, but that should have come in the paragraphs somewhere. Anytime you have established a gap, you need to see that there's a gap. Oh, give me a minute. The, this one you're counting now. Yeah. Yeah, so for example, you have said that your study is filling knowledge and contextual gap, but that knowledge and contextual gap should have been identified. So you have said that a deeper understanding of the context-specific challenges is crucial. So that is the contextual gap there. Do you get it? So straight away, you said examine the specific capacity needs of Ghanaian health in training. So before you come to the examining, you should say that this creates a contextual gap that needs to be filled. Before the examining the specific capacity needs comes in. That's where it is. So in the preceding paragraph, you were establishing something that creates a knowledge gap. You see, so that when you come here and you say this study is conducted to fill the knowledge and contextual gaps, your reader understands that, oh, okay, so this was the knowledge gap, that is the contextual gap, and this study is filling them. And so you see that you shouldn't see the study therefore seeks to assess how and under what conditions will. No. So it should be the study, hold on. It should be the study therefore seeks to assess how and under what conditions effective procurement risk management leads. That's all. So take this thing. That's it. So that makes the statement correct. And then now you see you are filling the contextual gap by saying within the context of health institutions in Ghana, which is right. Objectives. Okay. Okay. Keep going. Yes. You see the paragraph, the paragraph is not clear. So work on it. Okay. No, hold on. You see, you are saying that Finally, the study fills the gap in existing literature by providing to the benefit of who? You see that the beneficiary is missing in that paragraph, but you are talking about significance of the study. So definitely it should be to the benefit of who? It should be there. Yeah, please, I'm having a class. You can send me a text. So you can send me a text. Okay. Yeah, keep going. Good. Excellent. Keep going. Stop for a minute. Stop for a minute, please. But you see, you said adopting a line on one concept may limit the generalizability of the. No, it will not limit. It will not limit the general. It will rather first limit the scoping, which could intend affect the generalizability of the finding. No, just that. No. That's just the part coming from adopting a line. You need to tidy it up. Adopting a line on one concept may limit the scope of the study, which will intend no, let's make it could, which could limit the generalizability. Shouldn't be generalization. Limit the generalizability of the findings. Yes, okay. Scroll up. But I did indicate that you shouldn't use, hold on, you shouldn't use future tense, because I know many of you will not. So 5 main chapters, and each chapter is the yes. Okay. I think your work is very well done. Well done.
Thank you, sir.
Who is next, please?
I think that is Gifty.
I'm trying to look at the list.
Doc, please, I'm next. Good evening.
Good evening.
Doc, please, this is Gifty.
Okay. Go ahead. Where is the title of chapter 1?
Introduction.
You know that I will not normally allow you to edit formats. So I hope that this is your first and last. Please scroll
Yes, Doc.
bring up
Sorry.
the first paragraph.
Okay, Doc. Doc, please, should I go? Should I keep on scrolling?
No, I don't see the citations for the first. Okay, fine, it's there. Go ahead. So scroll to, but you see that Gifty, while you were waiting, I was telling somebody that all the italics must be italicized. Why didn't you italize yours? You were so eager to share your work that you forgot that the corrections I am making should reflect in your work too.
Doc, please, I should
Somebody
capitalize.
advised me on the page to be patient, but you people are trying my patience. You
Please, I'm
saw when
sorry.
Francis presented his work, all the italics were neatly done. When Francis was presenting, you would think I wasn't reading, but I was reading his work. But because of how smooth it was, you see there were no hitches. Okay, bring up the next paragraph.
Okay, Doc.
Hold on. You have gone too fast.
Sorry, Doc. Please, should I go down?
No, you're going back up. Normally, you bring it paragraph by paragraph. Now you have scrolled to the end, but I haven't looked at the paragraphs. So go back up to the second paragraph, please. And your paragraphs are too wide, they are not correct. But it's okay. You can deal with that later.
Okay, Doc.
You go back up, 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 up. I was on the third paragraph, and before I realized you have scrolled to the end. Yesterday, somebody advised that if you are having challenges with your internet, send your work to somebody so the person will share for you. Because you can see that it is freezing, and because of that, I'm not able to follow it.
Doc, please,
Because
okay.
No, I am on the third paragraph. Third paragraph. I don't know the number of the paragraph I'm seeing now. That's why I said you should scroll up so that when we are coming down, we'll be seeing the number of
Doc, please,
paragraphs.
let me start from the top.
So yes, so this is paragraph 1. Good. So the relationship between
Yes,
is
please.
paragraph 2. Is that okay? Go up.
Yes, please. Yes, please.
So this is paragraph. I want paragraph 3. So up to
Okay,
commitment
Doc.
is paragraph 2.
So
Okay.
please,
So
this is
effective is paragraph 3. So bring it all up, up, up.
okay, Doc.
So stop there.
Okay.
Okay, next paragraph. No, don't say this study therefore seeks to investigate the moderating effect of employee commitment on the relationship. You are just repeating your topic. That is not how it should be. You say that this study seeks to study the relationship between supply relationship management and supply chain performance. You see, it's not supply performance. Supply performance is very, very different from supply chain performance. You people should develop flair in mixing the words. So the study seeks to study the relationship between supply relationship management and supply chain performance, and how this relationship is influenced or moderated by employee commitments.
Okay, Doc, please, I'll work on it.
Okay. No, you are not doing PhD, so it cannot be gaps in literature. It should be problem statements.
Doc, please, I'll change it. I'll work on it.
Okay. No, you cannot study, you cannot start the sentence in the problem statement by saying this study identified numerous gaps. If it is problem statement, you can say existing literature on supply relationship management and supply chain performance leaves a number of gaps necessitating the need to close or the need for a step. You can't say it like this. So highlight that paragraph and rewrite it. First, you are even making it
Okay,
a paragraph when it is just one sentence. Can you see it's one sentence?
Doc, please, should I scroll down?
Yes, please. But you cannot say there's a gap when you haven't provided a citation. You are saying despite the extensive research and supply relationship management and its impact on supply, you see, you keep saying supply performance. What happened? Since when did your variable change? If you say there is a gap in understanding how employee commitment moderates this relationship, that at that point there should be a citation. Who study found that there is that gap?
So, Doc, please, should I work on the whole paragraph on just this sentence?
No, you must provide, just highlight that sentence and provide the citation up to relationship, because you are saying there's a gap, but somebody somebody study has to have said that. So look at this. You say existing studies often overlook the human element within the process, neglecting the potential influence of committed employees on the success of this initiative. So that is a wonderful citation. So then you don't, this statement you are saying, despite the extensive research, why must you have to say it? You can start with this. You can start with existing, and then after initiative, you provide the citation, and this one then becomes your commentary of this citation.
Okay, Doc.
So you have a citation there that says human elements have been overlooked. You are now relying on that statement to say there's a gap. And if you said that, nobody can take you on. So you take the despite extensive research, you can replace that phrase by saying the implication of this of Monks's finding is that. So you can say the implication of Monks's 2015 finding, or you can just say the implication of this finding, because you just stated it, is that there is a gap in understanding how employee commitment influences, because they didn't talk of moderation.
Okay, Doc.
So you can say that the implication of this finding is that there is a gap in understanding how employee commitment influences the relationship between supplier relationship management and supply chain performance. Wonderfully established gap and cited.
Okay, Doc. Thank you. I'll work on it.
This further statement, therefore, is needless. You should say, to this extent, investigating the moderating role of employee commitment, as this study seeks to do, is to gain a holistic understanding, but that should be the end of the road. Is because you started by saying your study is identifying gaps and closing them. You are permitted to be able to run away with murder, where you can say that there therefore there is not appropriate.
Okay, Doc.
To this, I said something. Investigating the moderating role of employee commitment is imperative to gaining a holistic understanding of the complex interplay between supply chain management relationship, employee commitment, and yes, which will be nice, without you making reference to your study yet.
Okay, Doc.
So the therefore should be replaced by to this extent.
Okay.
Next paragraph.
Please, I'm coming.
No, you don't need to make reference to extensive literature again, because you started off by saying there are gaps. Is that okay? So here you just say also the direct impact of this on this. That's all. You just say also. So all this extensive literature that should not be there. Cross it
Okay, Doc.
out. Use the cancellation tool to cancel it. It's there. Look at ABC cancel up there. Yes, just cross it out.
Okay.
So you just say also, comma, the direct impact of this and
Okay.
But you are saying that, however, a critical gap in understanding persists, particularly concerning the moderating influence of employee commitment within. You don't say however. However negates what is there. So what you will want to say, this establishes yet another critical gap. This establishes yet another critical gap in the understanding. It shouldn't be that however, because as soon as you say however, you negate the preceding sentence.
Okay, please.
Why do you keep wanting to say numerous studies have done this? Why? Why you are presenting something? You numerous study, no in a FA. You see, because this whole reference to Cousins and Cruz have all been captured in, if you reshape this paragraph, it's all there. So you cite all of them because you have already cited, Cousins et al. 208, Wagner and Bode or Bode 206. But you see that you have Cousins 2019 and Cruz 2017, which are more current than the 208 and 206. So merge the two because they are all talking about the overlooking of the human factor. So you take out those citations and cross it out, cross them out, and then what you should do is that represent this. You see, there are ways that we present citations so that whatever we are able to say ourselves becomes commentary of that reference. Otherwise, you'll be asked to provide sources. You see, next paragraph, you are also talking about numerous studies again. How many times do you want to make reference to numerous studies? So this one should start with again, a positive association between this and this have been established. However, you see, so that is how I think you can highlight that paragraph
Okay, Doc.
and reorganize it. Francis, okay, let me mute Francis and take away his co-host status. Okay. So it means that this whole section just needs reorganizing.
Yes, please. Okay, Doc.
Go up. We shouldn't have too many references to.
Okay.
You see that this has also been established. You see, so if you are talking about the missing human elements, then you can put all of it in a flow in one paragraph, no matter how long the paragraph is. Once it is all talking about the overlooking of employee commitment or the human element, you should let it flow. This gap in understanding the nuance interplay between this and this and this should be said once, because that is a knowledge gap.
Okay, please.
And you should be able to identify it as such.
Doc, please, should I go up?
Your background statement is becoming too long. I'm sure when you tidy it up and you take the numerous while existing research, numerous research, or those plenty repetitions, it should tidy up nicely into 1.5 pages. Okay.
Okay, please.
Okay. So let's go to objectives, because I'm sure you need to tidy up that whole place, because you are presenting gaps. You have identified empirical gaps and you have identified knowledge gaps. You just have to redo it. When you
Okay.
finish, you can send it to Caleb. He will look at it.
Okay, Doc.
Or Bonaventure can also look at it. If he's not able to, he will come to me with it.
Okay, Doc.
I'm sure he can, so it won't be a problem.
Okay.
Okay. Go up. Keep going. I thought you have indicated that there was a lot of extensive study on the relationship between supply relationship management and supply. Why did you change your variable? Please stop
No,
that.
please. No, please.
Stop that. And supply chain performance. So if that is the case, then what is not appropriate? It should be how does, because what is means the relationship is not known, but it should be how does, because you have indicated up there that this relationship has been widely studied, isn't it?
Yes, please.
Mhm. Okay. You were here when I was saying that this thing we voted and the significance of the study. Please, you people shouldn't try my patience. Oh.
Doc, please. I
Hmm?
changed. I don't know. I changed it. I don't know why.
This your paragraph is to the benefit of who? So by doing so, it contributes to the supply chain literature. By doing so, it contributes to the supply chain literature. Mhm. Go to the next paragraph. You see, you have presented this as if that paragraph organizations investing in stand to gain practical insights into by recognizing the pivotal role this knowledge is. But how does your study contribute to that knowledge? Do you see? So you have presented it as if it is a background statement, but you want to say that it is your study that will. So either you start straight by saying the study also provides organizations in investing in this, and then it continues on so
Okay,
that
Doc.
everybody knows that the reference is to your study. Screw up. Why have you made it strategic decision making column? And then you say the findings offer. Take that out and say the findings from this study also offer simple crowd. Yes, the findings from this study also offer As simple as that. And please go up. Keep going, please. Push the organizations can proactively address to join the last paragraph. No need to create a paragraph there.
Okay, Doc.
So, yes, because it's still the same thing.
Okay, please.
No, you see, by closing the gaps identified, what gaps did you identify? Your study has two gaps, knowledge and empirical gaps. So by closing the knowledge and empirical gaps, the academic community benefits from this study. Simple crap. And then you say the rest. This is because it builds on existing literature by incorporating. That's it. Keep going, please. Go. Keep going. No, you see, you did indicate that some relationships have been. So if you say to uncover, it means it is not known. To further examine is the most appropriate. You are not uncovering, you are further examining. Okay. You have missed the approach. So you say the study is to know. The study also adopts the quantitative research. It's not method, it's approach. The study is this here, down. After the data collection approach involves, but you are now talking about the quantitative approach. So you need to reorganize it. So you started with the design, you came to the strategy, you present the approach before the data, in fact, data collection even comes after sampling technique and sample size. So please highlight it. You have done it nicely in a way, but you have one it down. It should be design, strategy, nicely done. But when you came to where you should talk approach, you started talking data collection. No, you have damaged the order. So approach should follow. Then before population, before sampling technique, before. So technically, if you get this right, your chapter 3 is done. When you get to chapter 2, you just look at this and you keep expanding because you have already said everything you will do in chapter 3 here. You are just expanding it in chapter 3. That's why it must follow the order. Go down, please. Why are you talking about limitation and the scope? You, at the time you are even picking the scope, you yourself, you are saying it is limited. Why will you then pick it? Then don't limit it. That's why limitation has its own section. Why are you saying it cannot be generalized because it is limited? Why? It's just like saying, I want to slap you, even though I know the slap is not good for you. Then if it's not good for me, don't slap me.
Okay.
I did indicate how the scope should be done. If you are addressing geography, you say the geography and explain why. You want to study Western region. Why is the study being conducted in Western region? What does Western region hold? What do the organizations there represent? That studying them can allow you to do a whole master's study. That's what you do. Now you started by saying employee commitment is measurement is adopted from fine. say the concepts of the study include, then you identify them. That's why when we're doing the presentation using the PowerPoint, I made everybody not use sentences under scope. I just told you to identify the key. I will just show that when you come here, you say that the concepts in this study include supply chain relationship management, supply chain performance, and employee commitment. You start off by defining it. So you said supplier relationship management is adapted. Is it the definition or the operationalization? Do you see? So first, supplier relationship management is defined as what? You are trying to copy from the PhD work, but you need, for masters, you need to define the concepts.
Okay, Doc.
Scroll up, please. So now you have only talked about their measurements. What you need to go and add is the definitions and indicate that that is the conceptual scope. So if you start by saying the concepts in this study include, then everybody knows you are presenting the conceptual scope. Limitations of the study, you say survey responses rely on which may be informed, but yeah, that is correct. But how is it a limitation? Do you get my point? So you are saying respondents might provide answers they perceive as socially acceptable rather than reflecting their true feelings or behaviors. How is it a limitation? You need to address that. How is it a limitation? This study employed the survey, and respondents were free to respond to the questionnaire, or the questionnaires were given to respondents to respond to it either at their own time or in a secluded way. Do you get it? So the potential of they providing socially desirable responses cannot be overruled. So you have introduced why you think this is a limitation. No, survey samples fully represents broader population. They fully represent them. Therefore, the second one cannot be it cannot be a limitation. Because the samples can fully represent broader populations. So if you have a reason why your sample should be a problem, then you need to say it. Otherwise, it is not a problem.
Okay, please, Doc.
So scroll down. No, this one, no, hold on. The low response rate, you are reporting it in third party. Are you saying the study recorded low response rates? If the study is not going to record low response rate, please, this cannot be a limitation. Usually, limitation is fully written when the work is complete. So what you have here are all suggestions, but if you are presenting them, they have to be real limitations. The second chapter, you say delves into, but it's not a human being. So the second chapter covers a comprehensive review is better. It's a better statement than delves into. Scroll up, please. Okay. Fine. You have done well in a way, but today's presentation, I am happy I have managed to be patient. Please, all of you should know that things I correct here should not show up. You saw how Francis' work went very fast. if we all we all pay attention to what we are doing, we may not have to be doing 5 a day. I can be doing 10 because I'm supposed to do the chapter 1, the chapter 2, the chapter 3 at the minimum before you submit your works. Ordinarily, I should do 4 and 5. Tomorrow, I know I'll be busy, but Tuesday we can have meeting. Wednesday, I will be busy. Thursday, Friday, we can have. I will just be posting it, just be checking the platform. But we need to do this and do it fast because there is really, really, really no time. So please, I beg you, take it upon yourself. Listen to the video. See what aspects of what we have discussed you can correct in your work so that when you are now presenting your work, the issues are minor. It shouldn't now be that we are now correcting the works again fully as if we are just starting. Okay. I wish you all well. Thank you for joining.
Okay. Thank you, Doc.
I don't want to pray for the Black Stars, so we will just go and watch the match. Good evening.
Good evening. Thank you, Doc.
You're welcome. Justice, I did your thing. I did it about 3 or 4 days ago.